Did he take a little of the shine off of that last night? What do you think?
The viewers certainly got a more realistic sense of what these candidates believe and how they might carry it out. What I thought was so interesting was an exchange about how they, as potential presidents, would deal with Vladimir Putin. Who would talk to him? Who wouldn't talk to him? What does that indicate about their personality on the world stage? And they got very personal. So you could see the candidates saying, look, this is my chance to really go after Trump and say something, maybe of value. And you saw that reflected, especially on social media. Carly Fiorina taking a harder, more substantive line. She rocketed up in her Twitter followers and engagement. She now has more than 500,000 followers. So her appearance plus the follow-up of what she said clearly had an impact.
So she went from what to half a million?
She gained, I believe, about 50,000 followers, which isn't huge if you're looking at the followings of Donald Trump or Secretary Clinton.
But it's a big number.
It's a big number for Carly Fiorina.
Yeah, Todd Horwitz.
She went from the B card to the A card to one of the leaders among the A card, I think. I think she did a really nice job.
So
I think she's really good. And I don't think Trump did anything to hurt himself, but I'm tired of really all the rhetoric, just all the fluff that they're talking about now. I'd really like to see somebody say, you know what, this needs to be, we really need a change of everything. We need to make smaller government. We need to do a lot of, and I haven't really heard that yet. I still hear the political stuff and all that, and it just kind of bothers me.
Did you hear, Lisa Booth, did you hear what the priorities are for each of these candidates? What they believe to be the most important issues that America faces and how to fix them?
Well, I think what we saw last night and what I think is important, that there's something bigger at play here. The fact that, look, 60% of Americans believe that the country is on the wrong track. We have lost respect among other world leaders. Our economy is weak. And so I think it was hitting on these broader stroke points about really the need for a new direction in the country. And I think part of this, and it's difficult for these candidates, because if you think about sharing the stage with so many people, unfortunately, it's going to be really difficult to get to the more meaty substantive issues that we would all like to see from these candidates. But I think what was important is sort of laying out the need for that new direction and differentiating themselves from another.
They tried to differentiate themselves from another, but they were certainly showing camaraderie when it comes to being against Hillary. That's something that they all agreed on, didn't they?
Exactly, and I think that's something that's so important, because ultimately this race is going to come down to the Republican candidate and likely Hillary Clinton, who's the presumed nominee right now. And so I think it is so critically important for these Republicans, and not only laying out the contrast between themselves as a candidate and Hillary Clinton, but also the Republican Party and the ideals that we hold dear and the free market principles that we support, and, you know, reasserting ourselves as a world leader on the world stage and really highlighting the differences between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party.
It feels like Jeb Bush lifted himself quite a bit last night. What did you think, Joe?
It was interesting to see his interactions with Trump, because at first it seemed a little bit awkward. He had this grimace on his face when the lines didn't go in his favor. But then he loosened up a little bit. And some of the pundits out there have said he actually became a little bit more likable. But going back to the policy issues, we did learn a lot about what candidates think and believe at their core regarding Iran, Kasich and Cruz, very much at odds there, the Chinese economy, cyber attacks. So there was more of a substantive, even though there were 11 candidates on stage and Huckabee got basically no time at all, you still saw this meteor.
It's true. I mean, you wonder what happens in the next debate in terms of the field. You know, do we start seeing this field narrowing down? Because 11 candidates is tough on the stage. And you mentioned Cruz. Ted Cruz came across quite articulate. It felt like Cruz also lifted himself. Lisa, what's your take on that?
Well, and look, Ted Cruz is a great debater, and so I think we saw that last night, and especially he does the best, it seems, when he's pressed and he's in a difficult environment. And so I think when he started feeling the heat a little bit, that's when he rose to the occasion and really showed just what a great debater he is. So I absolutely think you're right on that.
Any thoughts on Cruz or any other candidate? Before we go, we're jumping out of here now.
I think, no, I have really no real other thoughts. I don't think Christie did real well. I thought that
you don't think Christie did well?
No, I don't think so. I think that
that's debatable.
That's a debate. Yeah, that's a debate.
Let's have our own debate right now.
Because there's a lot of people actually in social media who think Christie did very well.
Yeah, I was not really impressed with what I saw from him. I thought he was a little weak.
All right, we'll keep the debate going. Lisa, thanks so much for joining the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Lisa Booth. Straight ahead on Mornings.